You need to stop everything you are doing at this very moment. Take a deep breath, sit down, and listen to me with your soul, not just with your ears. Because what you are about to hear now may be the last time you feel trapped within the life you are living today. You have spent years asking, begging, hoping that something would finally change. You prayed for the bills that never seemed to add up at the end of the month. You prayed for the love that never seemed to arrive. You prayed for the healing of that family situation that has been stealing your sleep for so long. And often deep down in your chest, in a moment of extreme exhaustion, you asked yourself in silence, has the Almighty forgotten me? Am I not worthy? Is there something wrong with me that makes everything work out for others, but never for me? I will answer you now with all the authority that exists within the eternal Spirit. The Almighty has never forgotten you. You have never been alone. But there is a secret that no one has ever told you properly. And as long as you do not understand this secret, you will continue to beg on your knees for something that is already yours, without realizing that abundance is waiting for a single authorization to enter. Yours. The truth is this: you do not attract what you want. You attract what you feel you already are. You do not receive what you desire with words. You receive what you assume as truth within your being, in the silence of the heart, in the stillness of your most intimate thought, in that place where only the Almighty sees. And as long as your deepest feeling continues to repeat, I don't have, I can't, I am not worthy, abundance will keep knocking on your door without being able to enter. This is the reason why your life seems stuck. It is not punishment. It is not a lack of faith. It is the law of attraction operating in reverse, sustaining as truth what you no longer want to live. Today, at this very moment, this will change. Because I am going to give you the key that unlocks the door to your new reality. I will teach you why believe and receive is the secret. Why everything you live today is only a reflection of the mindset you sustained yesterday. And most importantly, I will show you how to change this definitively starting now before this video ends. And I need you to understand one thing above all else. This is not entertainment. This is not just another motivational piece for you to hear and forget tomorrow when the next worry arrives. This is a call, a direct, deep call stitched into your soul for you to leave the state of waiting and enter the state of realization. Because your time of waiting is over. The Almighty is not making you wait. You are the one making yourself wait by sustaining the wrong feeling about yourself every single day. And if you are feeling a chill right now, if a tear wants to escape, if something inside you is saying this is exactly what I needed to hear, then stop. Because what you are feeling is not a coincidence. This is your spirit recognizing the time to awaken, the time to understand that the abundance the Almighty promised you has already been released up above. What is missing is for you to open the channel down here, within your feeling. That is why I prepared a powerful digital book for you, a material called How to Know If You Are Saved for Judgment Day. This book fell into your hands today for a reason. You are feeling a spiritual movement within you that you cannot name, a weight in your chest when you think about your children, a restlessness when you remember the people you love, a repeated sensation that something is being prepared, but you don't know if you are ready. Many people are living this now and do not understand that this is the clearest sign that the Almighty is reorganizing your spiritual house before pouring out the promised abundance. The link to this book is pinned at the top of the comments and also in the video description. Hundreds of families in the States have already written to me, telling me how this material restored peace within their homes, saved marriages that were hanging by a thread, and returned the faith of parents who were exhausted. Do not let this moment pass. This content could be taken down at any moment, and the mission to spiritually protect your family is yours, not anyone else's. Comment Amen if you are accepting this call now. Now take a deep breath and follow me, because from here on things get deep. The law of attraction is the simplest principle and, at the same time, the most ignored by almost everyone who tries to change their life. It says the following: what you assume as truth within yourself with persistence becomes reality in the outside world. It is not magic. It is how the universe was built. It is the way the Almighty designed the relationship between the invisible and the visible. Everything that exists began as a feeling. Everything that manifests began as an assumption. And you, even without knowing it, are using this law every day. The problem is that you are using it against yourself. Think for a moment. How many times have you woken up in the middle of the week already with that feeling in your chest that the month was going to be difficult? How many times have you looked at your spouse and before they even said anything, you already assumed they were going to disappoint you again? How many times have you looked in the mirror and, before the day even started, you had already decided deep inside that nothing good was going to happen to you that day? In all those moments, you were operating the law of attraction. You were occupying a mindset of scarcity, of distrust, of defeat. And the universe, which is obedient like a perfect mirror, gave you back exactly what you assumed. The bill that came, the argument that happened, the day that went wrong. Not because the world was against you, but because the world was confirming the feeling you sustained. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine if you woke up before even opening your eyes and occupied the feeling that everything had already been resolved. Imagine if, while brushing your teeth, you already felt in your chest the calm and firm sensation of a person whose bill has been paid, whose child is protected, whose marriage has been restored. Imagine if, instead of asking, you started to give thanks like someone who has already received, not as a technique, not as theater to deceive the Almighty, but as a true felt occupied assumption. I tell you now, and I ask you to engrave this in your heart, your external reality is incapable of contradicting your persistent internal feeling for long. This is the law, and it does not choose who it works for. It works for those who use it. The secret is in the I am. Every time you say, I am tired and I am poor, I am sick, I am abandoned, I am forgotten, you are signing a spiritual contract with that identity. You are saying to your subconscious, this is the house where I live, this is the clothing I wear, this is the name I carry. And the subconscious, which is the faithful servant of your heart, runs out into the invisible world to confirm that identity in every detail of your material life. That is why I tell you, with all the spiritual firmness that exists, never again end an I am with a word you do not want to see becoming flesh. The I am is the signature of the Almighty within you. Use it with reverence. Use it with consciousness. Because everything that comes after an I am becomes prophecy. And I know what you are thinking now. But if it is so simple, why have I never succeeded? Why have I already tried to think positive, tried to affirm, tried to give thanks, and even so my life hasn't changed? And that is the most important question that exists, because here is the fatal error that nullifies all your attempts at manifestation. You keep affirming with your mouth, but you continue to feel the opposite feeling in your chest. You say, I am abundant, but you feel fear when opening your banking app. You say, I am loved, but you feel loneliness when you lie in bed. You say, my family is at peace, but you feel a tightness every time the phone rings in the morning. And the universe does not hear what your mouth says. The universe reads what your heart feels. This is the point that changes everything. And it was exactly at this point that you were stuck your whole life. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you to access now. The book, How to Know If You Are Saved for Judgment Day, is the material that will take you out of this internal contradiction between what you say and what you feel. The link is pinned at the top of the comments and also in the description. You need this book in your hands today, not tomorrow. Comment, I accept, if you are ready for this turnaround. Now pay attention, because from here on I am going to show you how science confirms what the mystics have always known. You are not just a body of flesh. You are a conscious electromagnetic field. There is research today conducted at top institutes like HeartMath that proves the following. The human heart generates an electromagnetic field about 5,000 times stronger than the field generated by the brain. And this field does not stay trapped inside your body. It expands outward in all directions, reaching meters away around you. Everything that enters this field is touched by the frequency it emits. People, decisions, opportunities, energies, everything. Now think about what this truly means. When you feel fear of the bill that is due, your heart emits a frequency of scarcity to everything around you. The decisions you make that day carry fear. The words you speak carry fear. The people you attract that day resonate with the fear you are emitting. And then the universe gives you more reasons to be afraid, because that was the frequency you were emitting. When you occupy the feeling that the bill has already been paid, even before the money appears, your heart emits a frequency of provision. Your decisions that day become wiser. Your words carry authority. The right people start to appear on your path with solutions, ideas, offers, encounters that seemed impossible. It is not magic. It is the physics of consciousness aligning with the law of attraction that the Almighty designed. And here enters the concept of the fourth dimension. You were taught to live only in 3 dimensions: height, width, and depth. The material, palpable, visible world. But there is a 4th dimension, where everything you are going to live in the material world already exists, ready, like a scene waiting to be projected on the screen of time. And this 4th dimension is accessed exclusively through feeling. When you close your eyes and occupy with all your internal senses the scene of the desire already realized, you are not imagining. You are visiting. You are entering that version of your life that the Almighty has already prepared, and that is waiting for you to feel that you are worthy of it to descend to the physical plane. William Walker Atkinson taught this with simple but devastating words. Assume the feeling of the desire realized, not the thought, not the phrase, the feeling, because the feeling is the bridge between you and the 4th dimension. And this is where the bridge of incidents technique comes in. When you occupy a new reality in your feeling, the universe needs to build a bridge of small events that will take you from the place where you are to the place you assumed. This bridge is the incidents, a casual encounter, an unexpected call, an email that appeared out of nowhere, an idea that came to you in the shower, a conversation that seemed common but changed everything. Each of these small events is a brick in the bridge that the Almighty is building between your old reality and your new reality. The problem is that most people do not recognize the bricks. They are so focused on the final result, so impatient to see the house finished, that they step on the bricks without noticing and keep saying, "Nothing is happening in my life." Everything is happening. You are the one who is not seeing it. And often the Almighty needs to delay the delivery of your blessing precisely because if it arrived now, you would not yet be prepared to sustain it. You asked for a restored marriage, but resentment still lives inside you. If the restoration arrived today, in 3 months everything would be destroyed again by the same old pattern. You asked for prosperity, but the fear of being seen, of being charged, of being envied still lives inside you. If prosperity arrived today, in 6 months you would sabotage everything. That is why abundance is on the way. But the Almighty is telling you now with absolute clarity, prepare your heart. Because what is coming is too big for an unprepared vessel. And the preparation is exactly what you are doing now in this video, changing your mindset. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you. There is a deep reason for your soul to be restless in the last few weeks. That feeling that something big is coming, but you don't know if you will be ready. That desire to pray more, but without knowing the right words. That desire to protect the people you love, but without understanding from what. The book, How to Know If You Are Saved for Judgment Day, was written exactly for this moment in your life. Not for later, for now. The link is pinned at the top of the comments and also in the description. Entire families have written to me saying that, after applying what is in this book, the house became another. The air felt different. The children started talking again. The bills started to be resolved in ways that seem like a coincidence but are not. This material could be taken down at any moment, and I don't want you to miss this spiritual window that is open now over your life. You were not guided to this video by chance. You were guided to receive this material. Comment "I am ready" if you recognize this call. Now I am going to teach you the most practical part of this whole transformation. And pay attention, because this is what separates those who just listen from those who truly change their lives. There is a sacred moment within your day that most people throw away every night without realizing it. This moment is the exact instant before you fall asleep. Those final minutes when the body is already heavy, the breathing is already slower, but the consciousness is still awake enough to feel. This moment is the gateway to your subconscious. And the subconscious is the computer that governs 95% of your reality. Napoleon Hill, one of the greatest masters of this spiritual science, taught the following: everything you deliver to your subconscious before sleeping is accepted as absolute truth and begins to be executed in the following hours while you sleep. You wake up the next day at a different frequency, attracting different things, making different decisions, without realizing that everything was programmed in the last 15 minutes before sleep. That is why most people live in repeated cycles. They end the day worried, lie down thinking about problems, replay arguments in their heads, occupy the feeling of failure, and fall asleep in that state. The subconscious works all night reinforcing that identity. And the next day, the reality appears exactly the same because that is what was programmed. Now I'm going to give you the technique. You will choose a short, simple scene that represents the desire already realized. It could be the scene of you hugging your restored child, the scene of you opening your banking app and smiling, the scene of your husband kissing you like in the early days, the scene of the doctor telling you everything is clear, a short scene with a beginning, middle, and end on a loop. And every night, when you lie down before falling asleep, you will enter that scene with all your senses. You will smell the scent of the place. You will hear the sound around you. You will feel the texture of the touch. You will feel the emotion of gratitude, and you will fall asleep occupying that feeling, not praying, not asking, occupying like someone who already is. This is what Neville called the transformed internal dialogue. Because while your normal internal dialogue repeats your problem, the occupied scene replaces the dialogue. And in 21 days, at most 45, depending on the depth of the old pattern, your external reality will begin to reorganize itself to confirm that scene. Not as you expected, usually through paths you did not imagine, but with a precision that will leave you on your knees crying, giving thanks, because you will finally understand that the Almighty was always working. It was you who were working against the Almighty, without knowing it, by occupying the wrong feeling every night. And here comes the most difficult, and at the same time the most liberating part: persistence. Most people try for 1 night, 2 nights, maybe a week, and on the 8th day, when they look outside and reality still seems the same, they give up. They return to the old feeling. They return to complaining. They return to fear. And then the bridge that was being built collapses, and everything needs to start from scratch. Persistence in feeling is not stubbornness with the mouth. It is loyalty to the feeling. It is continuing to occupy the state of the desire realized, even when the physical eyes see the opposite, because physical eyes only see what has already been. What is being built is still invisible. And this invisible blindness is the test of true faith. This is where most people give up, and this is where you will choose not to give up. I want you to understand one thing that will change the way you see everything. Your old reality does not die quickly. It fights to survive. It will appear with more force in the first few days of your new assumption, precisely to scare you and make you return to the old feeling. This phenomenon has a name. It is called the test of faith, or in practical language, it is the last breath of the old mindset. When you feel that everything is getting worse right after you start to change, in reality, everything is reorganizing to change for good. It is the chaos before birth. It is the contraction before labor. Do not run from the labor. Sustain the feeling, because on the other side of the contraction is the new life. And that is why so many people in the States today, people like you, mothers, tired fathers, women between 35 and 60, men who carry the weight of providing, are feeling a deep call to revisit their own faith in a different way. Not the faith of asking, the faith of occupying, not the faith of waiting, the faith of being. This is the faith that moves mountains. This is the faith that the Savior taught when he said, "Believe that you have received, and you will have." Note well. Believe that you have received, in the past tense, before having. This is the law of attraction stated by the Master himself 2,000 years ago. I want to tell you now about a woman, I will call her Martha, from the interior of the heartland, who sent me a message last week. Martha is 52 years old. Her house was at risk of being auctioned. Her husband had been laid off. Her youngest son was having problems at school. She told me, I had already accepted that I was going to lose everything. Until she heard about this spiritual approach, And she started doing the technique before sleeping, not as a technique, as surrender, occupying the feeling that the house was already paid for, that her husband was already in a better job, that her son was already well. 28 days later, her husband received an unexpected offer from a company he hadn't even looked for. In 40 days, they managed to renegotiate the house debt with a reduction that the bank manager said he had never seen before. In 60 days, her son started smiling again. Martha told me a phrase that I will never forget. I didn't ask for different, I felt different, and the Almighty did the rest. This is the key. This has always been the key. And you are receiving it today because it is your turn to live this same turnaround. Abundance is on the way, exactly as the title of this video says, but it needs a heart prepared to arrive. And the preparation of the heart does not happen by accident. It happens by consciousness, by choice, by occupying the new mindset every day. And I need to warn you about a trap that catches almost everyone in this process, the trap of haste. You will start to apply these truths, and in the first few days, you will want to run to your phone, open the bank, see if the thing appeared. You will want to message your spouse, see if they have already changed. You will want to call your son, see if he is already different. And in this haste, you break the feeling. Because haste is the greatest expression of scarcity. Those who feel they already have do not need to rush. Those who know it is theirs do not need to check. Calm is the perfume of true assumption, and it is exactly this calm that opens the portal of the fourth dimension to the material plane. Therefore, in your week, starting today, I will ask you for 3 practical things. First, every night before sleeping, occupy the scene of the desire realized for at least 5 minutes. Do not negotiate this commitment. Second, every morning, before picking up your phone, stay in silence for 3 minutes confirming the same scene in your chest. You don't need to pray much. Just occupy. Third, and this is the most difficult, during the day when the old feeling comes, when fear strikes, when doubt appears, you will say a simple phrase within yourself. I am no longer that person. And you will return immediately to the sensation of the scene. You will not argue with fear. You will not fight with doubt. You will just return to the scene. Because the law of attraction is won by persistence, not by force. And listen now with an open heart, because this part is the most important of all. Your family depends on you occupying this new version. Your children mirror your mindset. Your spouse resonates with your frequency. The people you love are trapped in the same pattern you sustain. When you change, you do not change alone. You pull all of them into a new frequency. That is why your awakening is not just for you. It is a mission. It is a spiritual responsibility. Whoever awakened first has the sacred duty to light up the whole house. And the Almighty is choosing you now, exactly now, to be that light. You are not here by chance. You are the spiritual pillar that your family needs. And from the moment you accept this role, abundance stops knocking on the door and starts entering through the front door, the backyard, the window, from all sides at the same time. The new reality already exists, ready, whole, waiting for your feeling. You will not build abundance. It was already built by the Almighty since before the foundation of the world, in the perfect way for you. What you will build is the bridge of feeling that connects your old life to the new version. And this bridge is made with daily persistence in the mindset of the desire realized. Brick by brick, night by night, morning by morning, without haste, without pressure, with the calm certainty of someone who already is. And as you walk across this bridge, you will start to notice things. You will start to notice that some people naturally drifted away from your life without a fight, without drama. You will notice that some opportunities started to appear where before there was nothing. You will notice that that impossible bill found a way to be paid that you hadn't even considered. You will notice that that loved one started to look at you differently, without you saying anything. You will notice that your own face in the mirror is different, lighter, firmer, more whole. And you will finally understand, with tears running down, that the Almighty was never far away. You were the one who was occupying a place where He could not reach you. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book to accompany you on this journey. You cannot enter this spiritual turnaround without having support material in your hands for the days when your faith wavers. And it will waver, because the old mindset will fight to pull you back. And on those days, opening the book How to Know, if you are saved for Judgment Day, can be the difference between giving up and crossing over. This book was written in simple, direct language for the heart of the people in the States, with examples you will recognize immediately. It teaches you how to sustain faith in the dark, how to recognize the signs that the Almighty sends along the way, how to spiritually protect your house and your children while the transformation happens. The link is pinned at the top of the comments and also in the description. I want to give you a serious warning now. This content is being taken down progressively on several platforms. Many people are losing access. Do not leave it for later. Whoever reached this point in this minute of this video is being called directly. Comment received if you recognize this call. And now hear the final truth that I want to leave stitched into your soul forever. Everything you live is a result of who you believe you are. Change the feeling. Everything changes. Persistence in feeling is true faith. Occupation of the desire realized is prayer made of flesh. I am is the signature of the Almighty within you, and this signature is your authority to create worlds. You will not leave this video the same as you entered. Something inside you has already changed. You are feeling it. Your breathing has become deeper. Your chest has become warmer. Your eyes became moist at some point. This is your spirit saying, Amen. This is the confirmation that the door has opened. Now it is up to you to cross through. And crossing through means two things. First, start today, tonight, to practice occupying the feeling of the desire realized. Second, secure in your hands the material that will sustain you on this crossing. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book, How to Know If You Are Saved for Judgment Day, to reach you exactly at this moment in your journey. This book did not arrive on your path by chance. You were led to it. The link is pinned at the top of the comments and also in the description below. Every day that passes without you applying this content is one more day that abundance waits to enter your home. Entire families have already witnessed the before and after of this material. Parents who returned to sleeping in peace. Mothers who regained the joy of cooking for the family. Children who returned home after years of being away. Do not let this moment pass. The window is open now. Get your copy before the content is removed. And when you finish watching this video, leave a comment with the word I accept. Because this comment is not just a word, it is a decree of acceptance. It is your new reality being sealed in the fourth dimension, about to descend to the material world. May the Almighty bless you, keep you, use you, and deliver to you everything that is ready. For so long waiting for your feeling to say, yes, Amen.